All right, guys, so first off, what you're going to have to do is you have to clamp this. I like to use a cutting board for mine because on my counters, I don't have the space under it to actually accommodate it. So that is a thing that you really have to pay attention to, but it's really easy. And this one goes right on my, where you at? There you are. This goes right here, and then you just lock it down over here, and screw it in there. And then it locks in, and it's really good. Tighten him up, and it'll goes in like that. You just want to make sure it's nice and tight in there. So now we are getting ready. The difference between this guy here and a meat mallet is huge because these little teeth down in here that do the grinding, they don't actually touch. So they don't actually all the way penetrate through the meat. And I'm going to show you that in a second, but I just wanted to, this is just different. When you get a meat mallet, you really destroy it, because I actually use a meat mallet at work in what I do, because I am a chef and I do cook, so professionally. And this thing here, I don't have one at work. I actually have to use a big meat mallet. This would save my life, but I'm not taking it in. So I also, I like to get my time in, and it takes a long time. This is a time saver, but for me, I'm making a chicken fried steak today, so I'm going to actually run some meat through here and go through the whole process with you. So I got to get the steak, and hold on. Okay, guys, I got my choice bottom round steak, and I got it on a deal because it was $6.09, and with my card, I got for $4.26, so I saved $1.83. And I'm not going to do the whole thing. I'm just going to cut this in half because this is just for me. And this is a choice steak, so it's, it is what it is. It's not that other nasty stuff. So I'm going to cut this guy in half, and then come over to the meat tenderizer. So here we're going to go. We're going to put him here. I'm going to run him through. Got to get him started. Grab them on the bottom there. It's coming out. And you can also just throw this right into your dishwasher for the cleanup on it. So I actually run it through a couple times. Get that there. Be sure it's all good and cubed. And this really does make a perfect cube steak. I'm actually going to run it through 3 times. You can run chicken through it, you can run pork through it, you can run whatever, but the other thing is it becomes completely uniform, so it's completely even when you're going to cook it. So this guy is done, and I'm going to get the rest of my stuff set up and put everything else together, and I'll show you how I do that. Okay, guys, well, I have my meat tenderizer, Cubber, in the sink, so that's going to sit in there and soak for a little bit. Now I also have all my ingredients, which is I have a 1/4 cup of flour, a 1/4 cup of cornstarch, what is this? This is a 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. Also, this is 2 tablespoons of salt.
Correction, it was 2 teaspoons of salt.
And this is 2 tablespoons of black pepper. And then there's another 2 tablespoons of milk over here. And there's my steak. So I'm going to put all this together really quick. It's really easy how this goes together. Doink. And I've actually trimmed this thing up to make it as easy as possible, because I've been making this stuff. Oh, you get in there, you. There you go. And it just really works. And I don't like, I have tried other things, and when you add the cornstarch to this, it really, really works well. So first, the other thing, I'm going to take some of my salt right here and season the steak. Not go crazy with my salt, but it's going to get salt and pepper in there. I'm not putting any other garlic or any of that other stuff, because this is basically the KISS method. Keep it simple. And I like the simple is, for me, the easier it's going to be in the end. And you don't really have to have a whole bunch of stuff, because this just gets a simple milk gravy, and this is how it's going together. So I got these guys in here. Now I'm going to put the rest of the pepper in here, actually half of it in here, because the other half is going to go for the gravy. I put that over there. Boop. And now I can put the rest of the salt in here. It seems like a lot of salt, but it needs salt. And there we go. Put you over there. Now I've got my whisk. Use my whisk. And before I add the milk, I want this stuff here incorporated really well. And then what I'm going to do is I got both sides. Remember, the steak is both sides with the salt and pepper. Now this is going to go in the flour, cornstarch, other mixture. Now, the trick here is using this little bit of milk here. And I also eyeball it. But you want to move that around, and it's going to make these really cool little craggy bits, the little crispy stuff that you really want. And you can also apply this to anything. This can be for chicken or for pork or whatever, whatever you want. You could probably even do seafood in it if you really felt so compelled. All right, so we got this going here. Okay guys, I almost forgot I have my milk over here, because to get these little craggy bits, you don't have to use milk wash either. I'm just using a little bit of milk so it adheres. Let the excess drip off. I'm going to go in here now. And now this is going to sit in here for a little bit, because you want it to soak it up and not really be, you don't want a whole bunch of, you want it to be uniform. You don't want it to be wet in different places and dry in other places, so with the flour. So we'll let that sit in there for a few minutes and flip it over just to be sure that everything is all equal. So let that do that for a minute and hold on. All right, guys. Well, I have my pan, and the frying fat that I'm going to use, I actually render my own beef fat. You can use vegetable oil, you can use lard or whatever, but at my work, I trim up a lot of steak and stuff, so like New York strips and stuff, so I just render it down, because we're not really doing anything with it. You can also make sausage and stuff with it and to add fat to stuff. So what I'm going to do is I got my pan over here. It is on medium high, so it's on like number 5 or actually, put it over here to number 6. I want it to get risky. And I'm going to get this guy in here. I absolutely love using beef fat because it has flavor and it's a natural product. And if you go into how they even do vegetable oil and all those other things, it's just not really a good thing. This is something that I make, and I love my butter. I mean, I do use vegetable oil, but I try to use it sparingly, because it is what it is. And hydrogenated oils or whatever, they're just not so hot for me. But you can use them, and they do work. So I got to wait for this to melt, and then I'm going to get back and fry the steak up. All right, guys. So my fat is hot, and this guy right here is all good. It's all incorporated. Shake off the rest, and now we're going to get him in the pan. Remember, always go away from yourself when you're doing this, because you don't want to dance with the pain. So this is going to cook for about 3 minutes on each side. And after about 3 minutes, I'm going to flip it and I'll show you what it looks like. So hold on. And that's golden brown, just what we want. Now I'm going to cook it for 2 minutes on the other side. It'll take a long time, but it'll be done quick enough. Hold on. All right, guys, that's been 2 minutes. I'm going to check him now. Come on, you. Come on, you. And that's exactly what I want. It's a little darker over there, but I really don't care because I want it crispy, and it will be crispy. I promise you that. I'll even give you a little tester to show you what this thing is all about. It's got the proper crust on it, so we're getting ready, getting closer here. So with the rest of this fat, I'm going to dump this fat, my beef fat, over in here. Get that out. Oops, sorry, you can't see it. Now I'm going to turn my fire back, my burner, all the way down to 2 and let that cool off, the pan cool off for a couple minutes because it's really hot and it just has to be that way. So give me a second, wait for this thing to cool down to make the milk gravy. All right, guys, so now that my pan is a little bit cooler, I'm going to, geez, that thing's really hot too. Oof. I'm going to add some of my fat. Sorry. Get in there. 1, 2, 3 tablespoons of my beef fat. Get it over there. And here I have some flour. This is about, I'm actually just going to put a tablespoon of flour in there and adjust it and see how he goes, and a little bit more. Put a tablespoon and a half. This is, I'm just going to eyeball it and see where I am. And that's exactly what we want. This is just a nice little quick milk gravy. How you do, you know, nothing extravagant. It's just salt and pepper. Simple, simple, simple. All right, I'm going to put a little bit more. Sorry about my slithering, but it is my slithering because that's what I got. A little bit more. And there we go. This is the consistency. That's the consistency right now. And I really do adjust this a lot of times because depending on the flour, if it's humid, specifically here in Florida, it gets really humid, but it is what it is. And I'm going to adjust my milk and stuff. So I'm just looking for a specific consistency. And we'll get there. So this is right over here. This is my, it's a cup and a half of milk, regular old milk. I don't use 1% or 2%. I have to have fat in my food because it has flavor. So we're just going to do this here, mix this guy around. We're going to get there. Now I'm going to put the rest. This is about a tablespoon of black pepper. That's going to go in there. And over here is another. This is about a teaspoon of salt. You can do your adjusting how you like your salt. If you like something really salty, you do that. I don't like it super salty, but you got salt on the table too. That's kind of like, you know, the measure to think in. All right, so we are almost there. I'm going to have to get myself a little bit more milk in there, so hold on. All right, guys, a little bit more milk in here. I don't want it like paste. Get my milk going. You can't really do this on a high heat either because you'll get a mess. All right, we are almost there. Basic milk gravy. It's almost there. I'll have to speed it up. Hold on. All right, guys, so I have mixed it all up. It is all incorporated, and this is how thick I like mine. It's a little thick, but I like it thick. You can make it, you can add a little bit more water, or I mean milk in there. Just add a little bit more milk and you can get it thinner, or just not put that much in, and there you go. It's just a quick adjustment. And, you know, heating up your pan and everything, let me turn that off. So this is what we got. Position over here, get you up there. And it's basically a nice little velvety gravy. If you have a, if you can do this in a stainless steel pan, I really don't like to use a whisk, but a whisk would really get this going a lot faster and smoother. It just takes a little bit longer with a spatula, but I don't want to mess up my nonstick pan. So that's what we got with this, and now I'm going to cut into him and see what we got. And along the way, remember, you guys, you can adjust everything and see how you like it for you, however that is. So here we go. Get you. It's hard to do my POV down here because it's hard to see. So I'm going to get this. It is crispy and it's really good. And you can adjust your salt and stuff or however you like, but that's what it is. And thanks for watching. This is just the tool is a great tool, and you can't go wrong with chicken fried steak. Thanks for watching, guys. It's a great product. Have a go.